Okay, hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending upon whether you are watching this live or on demand. Welcome to another Chatbot deep dive episode. If you're new to the series, essentially what a Chatbot, if I can talk, that is, what a Chatbot deep dive is essentially where I kind of live stream. It's quite a casual episode where we live stream and just go through a different element of the ubisend platform, talking through the different Chatbot features as and when we kind of come across them. In today's episode, we're going to be looking at the different message types, which is why, as you can see, I've started on my screen here with just an example message. We're going to be going through and showing all the different message types you can send to your users. So we'll be looking at images, videos, embedding content, embedding PDFs, or even website sitemaps, all within Chatbot messages. And of course, as well, I'm going to be demonstrating how this looks for a user, whether using a couple of different channels, so you can kind of see how, depending upon the channel, the message and the different message types that you're displaying is sent across. And as I mentioned, this is a live stream, so if you are watching it live, feel free to throw down any questions into the chat. I'll be monitoring that on and off as I'm watching, so if I don't get back to you during the video, very sorry, I'm probably a little bit too hepped up with what I'm talking about at the moment, but I'll be sure to get back to you afterwards as well. So if you do have a question, just put it in the comments. I'll either reply during the stream or I'll reply afterwards to your comment directly. And of course as well, if you are watching this on demand and you have some questions, don't think that just because it's a live stream, once it's watched, we're done and dusted. We monitor the comments on all of our live streams, so be sure just to throw any questions you have in and we'll be able to get back to you and answer them. And obviously as well, if you ever are watching this and you're quite interested, you want to see a little bit more of the ubisend platform or maybe a little bit more about Chatbot technology in general, make sure you subscribe to the channel. The live streams are a great way to understand the platform, and not just the platform in terms of ubisend, but understand what's possible for actual chatbots as a whole, because we kind of talk quite holistically during this. It's a little bit of a theory, a little bit of a how-to. It's kind of quite a nice mix of everything there. And as well as that, basically, once you subscribe to the channel, you also have access to pretty much all of the content on our channel, which is covering everything from, say, typical like kind of how-tos, different episodes and different series as well. We've got a Chatbot challenge, which has got kind of a nice little fun episode there where we kind of try and challenge ourselves to do something within 5 minutes, as well as also a lot of kind of like how you can actually succeed using chatbots in general. So we'll be looking at different lead generation strategies you can put in place, different ways you can kind of create a HR chatbot that really solves your needs. So there's quite a few different things that you can get from the channel, so make sure you subscribe. Anyway, with all that housekeeping done and dusted, it's time to start talking about the topic of today's video. I'm having some trouble talking today, the joys of live streaming. But now, as I mentioned, today's topic is essentially the different message types. And so what this means is what the actual messages you can send to your users. So as you can see on my screen here, we have this little example message. So if I just quickly copy this, so the trigger is show me the example. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump over into the demo. So as you can see, I've kind of got two different tabs loaded up here. And jump into the demo and just put show me the example. And this is going to reply with the example message, just so you can kind of see the different areas of what we are looking at. I have also noticed as well, I've kind of got some not very nice colouring going on. I've got a pink top and a blue banner, blue message type there. And that's because I was using this same kind of demo account that I used to use these in a previous message, which is where we looked at the different kind of channels that you can have and how you can kind of customize the channels using ubisend. I'll be sure to leave a link to that live stream in the description of this once I finish recording. So yeah, to forgive the slightly ugly colors that I've got going on, but if you do want to learn about the different channel types, how you can customize the colors so it doesn't quite look as clashing as I have on my screen at the moment, make sure you check out that video. I'll add the link to it in the description once this is over. Okay, perfect. So that's a lot of housekeeping there for the start of the video. Normally I try and keep it quite quick. But what we're talking about is the different message types. So there's quite a few different message types to cover today. So I'm going to kind of go through them all, talk about them all within different kind of use cases. So the first one that I want to talk about is basically, I'll start that again, and I think what I'll do is I'll explain how the message types work. So a message type is, as I've said before, just this kind of little message bubble and the content that you send to your user. As you can see here, I'm actually within the conversation build of ubisend, which is also getting updated quite soon, which is always very exciting. And as you can see, I'm now editing this specific step. So if I go down to message content, you can see here I'm editing the example message, which is just a default as soon as you spin up a new conversation. So, and at the top here, I've got the different message types I can send. And as you can see, there's a fair few which we're going to be running through today. It does look a little bit like there's quite a lot to cover, but don't worry, some of them are quite simple, some of them are very complex, and some of them are very powerful. Well, they're all quite powerful depending upon how you use them. So I'll kind of go through them in order from top to bottom, so we don't have any particular favorites. Don't want these message types that obviously don't have any feeling left out. The first one I want to talk about is quick reply, which, as the name suggests, allow you to kind of make a very quick reply. This is great for kind of making sure your users have a really clear option to kind of guide them through the flow. What I'm just going to do, actually, I think as I do this, is I'm just going to show you what the message type looks like, and then I'm going to discuss the different use cases and how you can actually implement this in your own chatbots. So if I head over and just click this Add Postback button here, I can now type. So let's go with a quick reply message type. And actually, I think what I'm going to do as well, as I mentioned, live streams, these are kind of a little bit more casual, so there's a little bit of back and forth. I think it's kind of the joy of the live stream. But Yep, so as I mentioned here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through each message type with a variety of use cases. So the first use case that I'm going to talk about with this quick reply is I'm actually going to talk about it from a HR sense. So let's imagine that this is a conversation here and it's in a HR, so this is an FAQ chatbot, and the user's asked it's an onboarding sequence. So we'll put along, welcome to our great company, which I'm sure if there is any HR professionals watching this, feel free to completely criticize my terrible HR wording. I'm sure you'll all do a much better job at it than I'm going to. But it's going to be welcome to our great company, and then I'm going to add a quick little, what can I help you with today? So this is just going to be a little bit of an onboarding sequence, and we're going to put here, getting set up on the HRMS. And then we're going to add a different option as well, which is going to be, I'm going to put booking intro meeting with IT. I don't know if departments do have intro meetings with IT. I know I've had a couple in the past, which is why I've gone with it there. So as you can see on the right side of the screen, I now have these two different buttons that I can press. And that's kind of the power of the quick reply, was it makes it really easy for users to basically say, okay, I'm now engaging with the chatbot. These are my options. This is what I can click. It's just a simple button press, and it helps you move them through the flow and exactly where you want them to go. Little quick sip of the water there. Okay, perfect. So getting set up with the HRMS, I'm just going to put HRMS here in this bottom field. And for this one here, I'm going to put IT. So the top field here, this is what the user sees, as you can see here on the screen. The bottom field here, this is what we call a postback. This is essentially where you kind of tell the chatbot how to move the user through the flow. So that will become clear in just a second once I've kind of moved on to the next step. So the way to say this is basically these postbacks. So this lower field here, if I just delete it, you can see it's kind of got the question. This is essentially a signpost within the chatbot platform that signposts the chatbot on where to take the user. So if I now just click save, and there we are, we've successfully updated step 1. You can see now we've got these two options here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add another step. We're going to call this one HRMS. I should probably put it in capitals to be fair. Message equals, and then we're going to put HRMS. So what this is saying here is, if you remember with our signpost, to bear with me a little bit, the joys of coughing and the joys of always running out of your throat always running out on you whenever you're doing a live stream. Happens to me every time. It's wonderful. But no, so as you can see here, we've got message equals HRMS. So essentially, when the user clicks the button, I'll just put in filler here. Let's get you set up on our HRMS then. Obviously, I'm not going to be building out a fully fleshed out conversation during this, so some of my messages are going to be a little bit here and there. And obviously as well, I can also put this in Dutch if I want to, but I'm not going to. In German, sorry there. And just click save. So what I've essentially done here is, using the quick replies, when a user clicks getting set up on the HRMS, it's going to take them down through to the HRMS conversation. So what I want to do as well is also set it up for booking an intro meeting with IT. So I'm just going to click this way. And I'm going to essentially replicate the exact same process. So when a message equals IT, as I believe that's what we set up there previously. When a message equals IT, I'm just going to change this to IT message up at the top and click continue. And then for this, I'm just going to put, I can book your meeting with IT. What we'll do is we'll probably flesh out these in a little bit as we kind of go through the different message types, but just for the time being, we're just leaving it very basic. And as I mentioned as well, ubisend chatbots, obviously they can come in multiple languages. I do also have German set up on this account. We're not really using that feature at the moment, so I'm just kind of putting default messages in there, but the user isn't actually going to see this because obviously we're talking to the chatbot in English. But that's something that I'm going to save for a future episode. I like to kind of throw in the odd little teaser at future live streams as we go, which is why I've left this on there. But anyway, so I'll just flip back to the English version, which is what we're looking at today, and click save. Okay, so now you can kind of see the power of the quick replies in terms of signposting and guiding users through the process. So if I click getting set up on the HRMS, it's going to take me down this side of the branch on the left, and then if I click get booking an intro meeting with IT, it's going to take me down the right side of the branch. So this is the really power of ubisend, essentially, is how easily you can replicate your current processes. I believe we have a client which has a huge onboarding process, which is kind of why I chose this as an example, because I remember looking at the conversation that they had. Their onboarding form is absolutely gigantic. And essentially using ubisend, they were able to replicate every single part of the process in kind of a very complex, different conversation flow. It had hundreds of different variables that could come into play. They were able to sit down, basically step-by-step basis, completely replicating it using a mixture of the features. Really nice user experience. It completely saves the management team from having to go through the same form hundreds of times with hundreds of different employees, and everything can change, and it kind of really helps remove the odd chance of human error because the chatbot will always follow the same steps. So quick replies, action messages, which I'm going to come on to next, all quite fun. And now, obviously, let's just kind of look at how this conversation looks in the thing. So I'm just going to, again, say to the chatbot, show me the example. I'm just going to run through, and this is kind of how it looks for the end user. So as you can see, we've got welcome to our great company. What can I help you with today? And I can either type a message myself. Sorry about that. I really am losing my voice at the moment. Or I can also click getting set up on the HRMS or booking an intro meeting with IT. And if, depending upon the option that I click, as you can see, it's going to guide me throughout that process. So quick replies, as the name suggests, that is there to enable the user to really quickly reply and make it really streamlined for you, guiding them through the process. Nice and simple one there with quick replies. I realise I've got quite a bit to cover, so I'm going to kind of fly through all these as quickly as I can. Let me just jump back into my message types conversation. So if I go into the message types here, click view. So this is our kind of example conversation, and this time we're going to change it up a little bit. So this time we're actually going to go with action messages. So as you can see, we were originally in quick reply. We're now going to move down to action messages, which are kind of they're quite similar to quick reply in a lot of respects. So when I go through this, you're going to recognize a few of the bits. But action messages also have a few more little exciting things that they can do as well. So if I click action message, as you can see, we still have this postback button. So if I just jump back to quick reply quickly, you can see when I was adding the like get set up, I can't remember what I wrote now, but get set up with IT. As you can see, so that's all kind of quite similar. Action messages, you can do the exact same thing, but rather than appearing underneath the bubble, it kind of appears actually within the main message bubble. So again, if I put get set up with IT, as you can see, for many respects, it fills a similar role to the quick reply message, but actually within the main bubble. But obviously, it's not just kind of that, the action of messages, they're not just kind of a different way of formatting and different way of showcasing the quick replies. They have quite a few different things. One of the ones that you can see here is obviously URL. This means that it's going to be able to add a link to a different, to say a website or of your choosing. So let's just say, well, again, maybe twist this. We were originally looking at a kind of HR example. Let's kind of twist this around. So instead, we're actually looking at a sales example. So let's go along the lines of, hey there, what products what products are, trying to think of a nice example here. Hey there, we've got some flash sales on, and then we'll go with want a peek, want a sneak peek. We'll go along with that, and then here we can put a sale on shoes, and we'll add another URL which is going to be sale on cars. Obviously there's not a lot of shops out there in the world that sell both shoes and cars, but again, just an example of how you can kind of link to different areas. And obviously as well with the link, you just kind of go ahead, enter the link yourself. So we'll go with, say, example.com/shoes, and then for this one again, we'll go with example.com/cars. So that's essentially how you're going to be able to create a conversation which links out to different elements of your website. And it's kind of quite a nice way that obviously, for the sales example, this again could perfectly work with a HR example. If you say you've got existing helpful information, you might say be guiding users towards different kind of education and development, or say like learning and development courses that you have on your website. Or maybe you've kind of got like say a web page which is kind of filled with loads of different information, great for new starters. You want them to say have a little read through your HR policy. There's a couple other ways you can do that using the chatbot. You don't have to link them to the website. I'm going to come on to those later. But as obviously you guys will know, you've got different web pages. You'll know what your chatbot will want to link. Really nice, really easy to set up the example there. And obviously as well, it's not just that. With action messages, you can also add files. So carrying on with our sales example that we've gone with here, we can also say we've got some flash sales on, want a sneak peek. I think what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to actually tweak this message. So instead, I'm going to put, hey there, I can help with product information. So we're going to be asking about product information, and I think for the actual formatting and the user opinion, we're going to keep this as a standard message. So the chatbot's just going to send one message bubble which says, hey there, I can help with product information. What we're going to do is we're going to add a new message, and this time this one will be the action message, and it will say, which types of products are you interested in? and leave that with a question mark there. And as you can see, and then we're going to change this one to file. So what this will do with this kind of double messages here is it will send the top message and then the second message right after each other. So this is quite a nice way of just kind of breaking up the conversations and the messages that you're sending. Great for kind of usability and the user experience. Sometimes you don't want to send a massive brick wall of text in one message. So obviously we make it nice and easy for you so you can send multiple messages bubbles, which again kind of keeps that natural communication, which makes chatbots so powerful. Everyone, when they text their friends or say their colleagues, they're likely to send quite a few messages in quick succession. If you're me, I'm definitely one of those people. I'm always sending hundreds of messages when I probably could have just sent one, but I just think it makes it a little bit easier, breaks it up a little bit easier to read. And actually, one thing I should also mention, if say you've designed a message and you want that one to actually go underneath, you just use these buttons here just to drag and drop them around. Okay, so we're talking about PDFs here. So for this example, we're going to put our cars, and we're going to put another file, and we're going to put our shoes. And what we're going to do here is we're going to attach two files. So this could be like product specs, and then when the user clicks on it, they're going to be able to download that PDF, which is a great way to kind of, if you do have a lot of, say, complex products, or you might have a complex offering, or say, no, particularly say if you're, say, in B2B sales and you're selling to kind of like large companies, or say if you're, say, particularly, I'm trying to think of a decent example here, but I can't seem to get the words out of my mouth for some reason today. Absolutely having a terrible time live streaming at the moment. My voice is just completely failing me. But say if you do have a large product specs booklet and or something along those lines that you know people like to download, they like to look at on their own time and then come back to you. The action message type is absolutely perfect for that. So all I have to do here, just click Files, and as you can see here, I've got the PDFs, and these are just kind of a couple, as you can see, my beautifully named PDFs on my demo account there. But yeah, and I'll just attach that PDF. And then whenever a user clicks this, it's going to be able to download that PDF. And obviously as well, the PDF itself is stored really nicely. And basically it's just a really nice streamlined way to actually kind of get people downloading your content. Obviously as well, say maybe in more of a lead generation, you might have some downloadables or say some white papers or reports that you want. These are obviously a great example. This is what makes chatbots so powerful. The user doesn't necessarily have to, say, go through the form, which I know can be off-putting for a lot of people. And I know as well also if you are, say, out there and you're like, oh, well, we like using the form because then we can capture their email address and we're able to, say, send follow-up, kind of like we can follow up with them with some nurturing once they've downloaded. That's all still possible with the chatbot. It can obviously capture their information. You can then, say, follow up with maybe, say, like leave notifications. So next time they log on to your website, they'll have a little notification there saying, hey, hope you like the PDF. If you've got any questions, the chatbot can answer it. So it kind of completely automates that nurturing process, as well as also removing the issue of, oh, well, I have to enter my email address onto a form. It can help, negative conversion rates of are people downloading forms. I know is a big issue for a lot of people. So the chatbot helps bypass that using kind of this conversational medium. And again, it's that kind of illusion of choice that you give the prospect. When the lead fills out a form and you actually get in touch, are they going to be that interested to get back to you? Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But if you actually let them check the chatbot in their own time, they're going to notice that they have a notification just like they do on social media. They're going to check it and they're going to say, well, actually, I do have a couple of questions. And they're going to ask you that way. It makes puts the decision on the user there, makes them feel a little bit more in control and really does break down that barrier. So quite a nice way there if you do have any, say, sales collateral. Okay, so that is the file. Up next, I think what we're going to do is we're now going to change this to a customer service example for the action messages. And for this, we're going to be using the protocol. So I think for this, and essentially what a protocol does is it essentially means contact. So we've got different ways. So we have mail to and call to. If you're familiar with any kind of like typical, say, email marketing or kind of any websites or anything like that, you'll know that mail to, as the name suggests, essentially is an email address, and call to, as the name suggests, is a phone number. So we'll go with along the lines of, let's say this is midway through a conversation. Like, sure, you can contact us on any of the following channels. And here with mail to, we're going to put send us an email. And let's just go with example@example.com. And again, we're going to add another one here, and this is going to be a phone number. And we're going to put give us a ring. And we're going to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, perfect. So that very realistic email address there and phone number. Now I'll just click save. Realised I haven't actually been jumping back and forth through the demo as much as I was planning on, so I'm just going to do that now quickly so you can kind of see how this looks. Over into the demo, I'll just quickly reset the chatbot. All this does is just basically reset it back to the start of the conversation. I'm going to put show me the example. Just completely double check that is the trigger that I originally set up. Yep, show me the example. And send that message. And as you can see, all I have to do now here is just basically, if I want to give them a ring, just click that. If I want to send them an email, just click that. Obviously, I haven't actually got, this is obviously my demo account and I use fake emails and fake phone numbers. So I'm not going to be able to just give somebody a ring at the moment, unless somebody does actually have the phone number. If there is someone in the world with that phone number, I'd hate to be accidentally giving them a phone call now. I really highly doubt that there is though. But yep, so as you can see, really nice, really easy way to kind of make sure that contacting you is as streamlined as possible. Again, great for sales, great for HR, this is kind of one of those universal. At the same time, you can either use live chat, the chatbot's going to be able to handle most of the inquiries, but there will be the odd one where you're going to want them getting in touch with you directly, or they prefer to, say if it's a very complex customer service query, a very emotional one that they might, actually getting in touch is probably the best bet rather than letting the chatbot deal with it. So with all of these things, just basically makes contacting your company an absolute breeze, or say contacting the right department if it's a HR sense. Really nice, really simple there. Okay, so that kind of covers the majority of the different message types within Action. So next we're going to move on to General. And I'm going to grab my quick sip of water. So I'm going to save General there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to jump into Carousel next, because I think it follows up with what I was saying previously quite nicely. So Carousel, if you're not already aware, is essentially multiple messages. So if I just, multiple different kind of message cards that you can scroll through. You've probably seen a few of them on social media. A lot of people like to use them in their social ads. So if I click next here, as you can see, it's a bit difficult to tell at the moment on the right side of the screen. But I have these two different cards. At the moment they're empty because I haven't put any information in, but the user's going to be able to scroll through these when they receive the Carousel message type, which I'm going to show you in a second. So let's just jump back, and what we'll do is we'll start filling it out. So carousels, they work with images. So let's just quickly select an image, and I'm just going to use this image of this nice looking, I believe that's a Lamborghini, Ferrari, I don't know, a gold car, a car that I can't afford is probably the easiest way to describe that. But so we're going to include that there. Add a quick link in case anyone clicks on it, so let's just go with, again, example.com. Make sure we format that link correctly. And now we're going to add a little bit of information, and again, let's go with another sales example here. So we're going to put along the lines of, want to buy a fancy gold car. Obviously at the moment I'm obviously just showing off the different message types. You guys are going to be the creative ones. You're going to be able to use these and think exactly how you can use them at the business. Obviously these are some quite I'd say lackluster copy that I'm including in these. I'm sure you guys are going to be able to come up with better ones yourselves. And we're going to add a little subtitle here to give a little bit more information. So we're going to put, this is the fanciest and goldest car this side of town. So, goldest, is it a word? Is it not a word? Who knows? And again here, what you'll notice is we've got Postback, URL, file and protocol. These are the exact same options that you have in the Action message type, which is why I decided to jump onto Carousel. So basically this again, if we just kind of go with URL here, as you can see, it's going to bring back up that same button that we were just discussing earlier. So it kind of gives you an option to say either have people get in touch if they're interested with the Carousel, or maybe say go to a link on a website or start a different chatbot conversation. So let's just again put buy it now, and 20 exclamation marks there. And again, we're going to put a little link to example.com slash, I can't do links properly, example.com slash fancy gold car. So yep, as you can see, when a user clicks that, they're going to be taken straight to the website. So this is quite a nice way of, again, in a sales environment, it's a good way to kind of show off different products. Great for, say, if you've got flash sales on, or maybe say, really nice for B2C if you're just trying to use your chatbot as a direct sales tool. This is a really nice way to show off the different products. And again, obviously works for services, works for HR as well. If you could say you've got different HR options, people might be interested in, say, different courses. This is a really popular one. I know a lot of our clients use this for. They might be like, oh, I'm in marketing. Let's just log on to the chatbot, see if we've got any new marketing courses on. There'll be a few different Carousel cards which they're able to scroll through, and you'll be like, oh, actually, I'm quite interested in the social media marketing course. Click that link, learn a little bit more about it. Really nice way there to kind of use the chatbot to kind of help your employees learn a little bit more. Okay, so that's the first carousel there. So let's jump on to the next one. So now we're going to be editing this empty space here. And yeah, what we'll do is we'll use this in a different use case. So no longer sales. I think kind of already, I was actually supposed to save that HR one, but I think for this carousel, but I think as we've already talked through this, we're going to use this in a customer service example. So let's select an image first of all. And again, this is going to be customer service. And I think for this one, we're going to be going along with this little ubisend. Let's go with the red card just to kind of keep the, so it looks nice, you know. And again, a little example link here. example.com. So obviously the image link here, which is basically if a user clicks on that link image, where will they be taken to? So it's just a nice precaution. Sometimes due to how carousels work on social media ads, a lot of people be used to being able to click on the images, which is why we've included this option within this, because when people are used to being able to do something via one medium, it's best that the chatbot can replicate that, which is what you'll find with pretty much the whole ubisend platform. Carousel messages, people are used to clicking on them on social media, on the images, so you can do it within the chatbot. It's a home away from home, as you can say. And for this is going to be a customer service. So this is a customer service example, and for this we're going to put learn, again, maybe a little bit more of a sales, but customer service at the same time. Learn more. For this we're going to put having, I cannot type today. Getting your, so for this is going to be, again, just kind of a little frequently asked question here, and we're going to go along the lines of, let's just go along the lines of, we've received, as I spelled received wrong as well, and I spelled it wrong twice there, we've received reports of our red cars struggling to start. Here's how you can fix that. And again, what we're just going to do is make sure that I actually spell things correctly, and for this we're going to use a button, and it's going to put fix red. Oop, I've written this in the wrong place. That is the postback, which, as I was mentioning earlier, is a signpost. So that's going to signpost the chatbot where to take the user. So we're going to put that underneath, and here we're going to put read how to fix. Okay, perfect, and click save. Okay, so what we've done here is, as you can see, we've now got two options. Obviously, in a normal situation, these would either be both be sales, both be HR, both be customer service, whatever your use case is. I just wanted to show off a couple of different examples. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of follow this up. As I mentioned, this here, we've used a postback. So essentially what this means here, let me just make sure I've definitely saved it. But yep, so what this means here is when a user clicks this button, it's going to take them to a specific part of the chatbot conversation. So let's close that down now. Let's just close this window and follow that up. So I'll just delete these two previous options that we had in here, just quickly delete these steps. The nice thing about using message types as well is it shows kind of how quickly you can update the ubisend platform. You know, if you've got a conversation that has something happening in it, really easy to update. So what I'll do here is I'll just quickly update this, and I will say, here's how you can fix your red car not starting. And then we'll add another message and go tip 1, tip 2, tip 3. Obviously this wonderfully, beautifully written and beautifully crafted copy that I'm using here for these examples. Okay, perfect. So this means when a user clicks that, I just need to update this trigger. So as you can see, it says when message equals IT. That was from the previous step that we just deleted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this transition. So when it goes to IT message, again, I should have probably renamed this, but I'm going to change this to fix red car, which is that signpost that we entered in earlier. So that means what happens here is when a user clicks read how to fix, it's going to tell the chatbot they've basically sent fix red car. It's going to say you've signed, the user's signposted to this bit, and it's going to move us down that step in the conversation. So let's have a little look at how this looks within the actual examples here. So if I just jump over into demo, and here we've got welcome to ubisend, and I'll go with the show me the examples example. And we've got the two different carousel types, obviously, as well. This is a typical sales one. If I want to buy the fanciest gold car this side of town, I can just click buy, boom, bam, dosh. Obviously, I'm sure new sales teams out there are going to have much better examples than that. And here as well, we've got the customer service one that I mentioned, which is kind of starting off a process and starting off a different chatbot conversation. Actually, I do own this red car. I have been getting into trouble getting it fixed. I'm going to click read how to fix, and it's going to get me moving on throughout the conversation. So again, just the action message buttons at the bottom there, but get made a little bit more exciting using the carousel format. And just having a little quick look at the chat here, I've seen a question come in, which is, can you send videos? Quite a nicely timed question, actually, to be honest. So as I am literally just about to get onto that step. So yes, the short answer to the message in the chat there is yes, you can send videos. What I'll do is I'll just view this here. So this is our little conversation that we have been editing. So, and I think the nice way to do that is actually to follow up on this question. So if you recall, the user has what they want to know how to fix their red car. They're taken through to this step. Obviously, I've got this kind of little example here. What we're going to do is, rather than putting tip 1, tip 2, tip 3, because that's a little bit boring, is we're going to change this message type and we're going to go down to video here. Now video supports either Vimeo or YouTube messages currently, so obviously we've got the YouTube provider. Let me just jump onto this conversation here. Obviously this is not an actual conversation about how to fix a red car. Didn't want to use a video that hadn't quite scouted out yet on the live on the video, because you never know with YouTube, you never know. But yep, so you literally just paste the link in, and obviously this is not actually about fixing a red car, this is actually about, this is just a ubisend video, but just for the sake of the example, really simple. So literally just type in, paste in the video URL, and obviously type a message. So we would put, here's how to fix your red car not starting. And what we'll do here is we'll just delete this previous one at the top and click save. And what I'll also just quickly do is just reply in the chat, yes, you can indeed send videos via using ubisend. Ubisend currently supports either YouTube or Vimeo links, and click send. Okay, perfect. So just replying with the chat there and talking out loud. Okay, let me just, I always get scared that I've not saved a message. I always do, I end up pressing save 1,000 times. But let's jump over back into our example and just reset the chatbot again, just so we can kind of start from the top and put, show me the example, click send. And here, okay, I'm having problems with my red car. How do I fix this? Okay, here's the video on how to fix it. Let me just mute that so we don't get absolutely deafened. And now I can watch the video without even having to leave the chat window. So that's how it kind of looks within the converse message. So this is the most typical kind of chatbot that I'm sure we're all used to seeing. This is actually quite a nice stage to show you how it looks in a few different channels. And the channel that I'm going to use for the purpose of the video, I am aware that we are running a little bit close on time. We've got quite a few message types. Might have to extend this into a couple long live streams, hoping we don't have to. So I'm going to be quite quick and show you just one different channel type here. So I'm just going to jump into the different channels, and the channel type I'm going to show you is the full page. So if I just click options on the full page, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly just load up the full page chatbot. If you do ever want to use a full page chatbot, it's not how I'm showing you at the moment, but that's just the easiest way for me to show you in the demo. So this here is a full page chatbot. So what we're going to do is literally follow the exact same conversation. So show me the example. And again, I mentioned at the start of this video that in the previous one we did look at the different channels. The link to that will be in the description if you want to learn more about the full page chatbot or any of the other channels on ubisend. But yep, I'm just going to click show me the example. And as you can see, this is how the carousels look within a full page chatbot window. Nicely resizes, and the user is able to kind of click through and view the different elements. So it's quite a nice way of just kind of, using the carousel, using the medium, really is immersive. This has kind of only got these two options. And I think carousels in particular look absolutely great with the full page chatbot. Here obviously as well, I can now read how to fix, and this is where I'm going to be able to watch our video live on the chat. So yep, and then I'll just quickly click pause on that as well there. Let's exit that. So there we are. That's kind of these kind of two different message types within a different channel there. What I'll do is I'll just jump back in, minimize my bookmarks that randomly popped up for a second, and look at the different message types. So what have we covered so far? We've covered carousels. Let's just jump in here. I think what we'll do is we'll kind of start deleting these out, because otherwise I'm going to start getting very confused by what I have covered and what I haven't covered. As I mentioned, there's a lot of different message types. And again, we're going to just jump in and just kind of go down to message content and change this. So we have covered, we are getting down, we've just covered carousel, we've just done video. We'll jump into image quickly here. Image, as the name suggests, not going to spend too long on this one, allows you to send an image. So very similar to the carousel. As you can see, you can send a quick image. What the really nice thing about this is about using images, this is a great way to add a bit of personality to your chatbot conversations. Say, for example, you can kind of throw in different logos, or here's a nice little example where you can say maybe throw in a few little product shots as well in a sales example. Customer service example, you might be able to say have a nice little screenshot that properly explains the FAQ. Say if a user's got a question about, oh, I'm struggling to log in, can you remind me, where do I log in again? You might just want to send a quick photo with a little highlighted bit saying, you log in by just clicking this button here. Really nice way. Images, obviously, they're very simple, and image itself will look very similar to what I just showed you using the full page chatbot. Will look very similar, just coming through to that. So I'm not going to obviously go through and show you that exactly right now. But yep, really nice there. Images, obviously does what it says on the tin. You can add a message underneath the image if you'd like to, and obviously as well, if you'd like to maybe say follow it up, you can start using all of these message types in tandem with each other. You can maybe follow it up with a quick reply message here, which is like, do you still need help finding the login? And then here we can add a little button, and they're going to say, yes, please. And we're going to change this to more login help. And that means when a user clicks that button there, they're going to be taken to an even further example of login help, which might say be a video, maybe a live chat agent gets involved. There's a lot you can do there. Okay, perfect. So that is the image types. Let me just delete that out. And now obviously video, we've just kind of looked at video. Next one I want to discuss is the content. So content is a very exciting part of ubisend, which is where you can actually bring content, the pre-existing content you already have, such as a website or a PDF, into life within chatbot conversations. So if I just click on content here, and delete out my beautifully typing there. Yep, so essentially content works by, what you do is you enter into a knowledge base. So what I'll just quickly do, knowledge bases are a future episode of the live stream series. Another reason to subscribe to the channel, really powerful part of ubisend. You are probably going to be hard pushed to find a chatbot platform that can offer knowledge bases in the way that ubisend can. Quite really kind of, there's a lot you can do with knowledge bases, so that really does deserve its own feature drop in. So I'm not going to talk too much about them, but essentially a knowledge base, obviously this is my demo account, so it's got all sorts of bits and bobs, is essentially a collection of information that the chatbot learns. So as you can see, this here is called website sitemap. This is every single web page on a website. So every single website, every single web page that a website has is literally imported into the chatbot platform, and then using the content can be resurfaced in a message. So when a user asks a question, if the right answer already exists in a PDF or on a website, it's going to appear in the chatbot conversation. The easiest way is I'm just going to show you how this looks, and you're going to be able to, much easier to picture once you've kind of seen an example of it. So, and I think the example of this, let's have a little look at the different knowledge bases that we have on offer. Let's just go with no code. What's no code looking like? Okay, so this is a really short one, which I just kind of quickly drew up at one point, I believe, in a previous video. So a no code, so as you can see, this is basically the content. It's not the biggest amount, which is why I'm going to use this. So this is a question about, is ubisend no code? So again, we're going to kind of go with somewhat customer service, somewhat sales. Yes, you can use ubisend without writing a single line of code. And then what we're actually going to do is, as I mentioned earlier, you start using these in tandem for a nice user experience. So that's just going to be a standard message type, which is literally just text. And then we're going to put the content message type in here. So then we're going to leave it, so it comes to as a separate bubble. Here's a bit more information. So if you recall, back when we were looking at adding a URL, I mentioned that you don't always have to link out to the website. You can do it within the chatbot conversation. This is exactly what I was referring to. So what we're going to put for the title of this, and we're going to first of all go into advanced settings, and we're going to use imported content, which is essentially our knowledge base. We are going to, I believe, we are using the no code. My internet's been really playing up at the moment, so sorry if it does down as there. We're going to use no code, and we're going to, so basically this is saying, use this knowledge base called no code with the page no code. Okay, and save. And then here we're going to put section underscore, actually I think what we'll do is we'll start off with the title, which is F8, which is knowledge base section name, and save, and then knowledge base section content, and click choose. Copy this down quickly into here. So if you're wondering what these variables are saying, essentially this is a variable, which basically means within the curly brackets is going to be populated by the knowledge base that you've chosen. So here we click knowledge base section name. So if I just jump back in here, that section name is no code. And here we've got knowledge base section content. That content, whoop, wrong link. That content is obviously this content here that you can see. So what we're saying to the chatbot is look for within the no code area and put the name in and put the content in. I'm just going to show you what this looks like, much easier to understand there. Click save, and now let's jump into the demo section, and again, go with show me an example. Oh, I'm getting very bored of writing show me the example. I should have picked a shorter sentence. My typing is going completely out the window at the moment. It's going to take a couple seconds. Looks like my internet has gone down. I believe my internet has just completely gone down there in the old knowledge bases. Yep, it does look like, unfortunately, my internet has just gone, so the chatbot is struggling to retrieve the information. Let me just double check I've got this all set up correctly. I have indeed. So this happens to me all the time. It's really irritating. So basically, what we're facing here is a little bit of a technical difficulty, which is where my internet connection occasionally will just give out in terms of the actual ubisend's NLP. So I think because I'm streaming, it looks like my streaming health is okay. That eats up pretty much all of my bandwidth a lot of the time. So what we're going to have to do, this is normally when I should have, say, like put a little screen up, like a little waiting screen up on the screen while we wait for my internet connection to kick back in. It's looking like it is okay, I believe. Bear with me just a slight second. Okay, so I believe with the internet, I might have to just bypass the content section for a second there. And what we'll do is we'll move on to embed, see if the embed works through. If not, I might have to bring this live stream to a halt. And what we'll do is we'll jump into it with a follow-up episode just to kind of cover a few different examples. So yeah, we'll give embed a try. Hopefully embed will, my internet will be able to cope with that. But so essentially what this is, embedded content is embedding content actually within the chatbot message, similar to the content of what we were talking about. An example of embedded content is going to be, say, a calendar link, a table booking, anything along those lines. So let's just go with, you can book time in my calendar. And here we're just going to put calendar booking. And in typical Blue Peter sense, if anyone watching this is from the UK and remembers the old Blue Peter show, not sure if it's still running or not, here's a meeting link I prepared earlier. Fingers crossed my internet is going to be okay for the time being. I'll be a little bit disappointed if it isn't. All right, let's see if it's back up to speed. Show me the example. Okay, yep, sweet, we are back up to speed. Okay, yep, so embedding content essentially means you can kind of embed different links, such as calendar links, table bookings within the chatbot. If I just click view here, this, as you can see, this is taking me to book a meeting with the lovely Alex DeBecker. Some of you may have heard of him, he's a very nice guy. But as you can see, I can obviously just go through and actually book a time in his diary directly within the chatbot widget. Great for sales, and obviously, again, great for direct sales if it's, say, customer service or something like that. This is actually quite a nice one again to show you how this looks in the full page chatbot, so I'm just going to quickly do that as well. Okay, and now we'll just jump back into the messages, so just jump back into chat. Show me the example. I've just received another, my internet connection is unstable warning. Let's just wait for that to go away. Okay, we're good, All right, let's see, show me an example, come on. Don't dial me now. Okay, perfect. Yep, so as you can see with the full page chatbot, nicely resizes, and is basically, this is another power of the full page chatbot. Really helps kind of keep the conversation within the actual platform. Sorry, not within the platform, but within the window, so there's no chance of, say, the user getting distracted. Has really high conversion rates doing it this way, which is great. Okay, perfect. So that is the embedded content type. So we've kind of got a few more, and then maybe jumping back to content, depending upon the time constraints. So the last kind of three that we've got here is progress. Progress, quite a simple one. So progress, essentially, as you can see here, is just these three loading dots, typically used as a loading sign for live chat. So one of our agents is on their way. So this is quite a simple one here. If I just click save, and what we'll do again is we will just quickly show this off. Show me the example. So as you can see, the loading is basically one of our agents is on their way. Great, obviously absolutely perfect for live chat. The loading sign's constantly there, lets people know that the chatbot is kind of doing its little bit of research into that, making sure that they know a live chat agent is actually coming, and the kind of little dots there make it look quite nice. So yep, as you can see, that's the kind of progress type. There's quite a few different ways you can kind of use this. If, say, maybe you might have something where not just particularly live chats, but you might say you have, there's quite a lot of different use cases. Sorry, I'm just aware that we're running push for time, so I'm going to try and not talk through too many examples. Payment as well, payment gateway, obviously. At the moment, I've only got Global Pay set up here. You can have a few different payment providers. I'm sure if you speak to your account manager, if you are a current ubisend member, but obviously I'll just click Global Pay. Not a huge amount to say about payment. This is obviously where the user can pay directly within the chatbot conversation. Great for direct sales, great for, again, if you say like repeat prescriptions or subscriptions, really nice for that. So payment, yep, really nice and simple. And event. So event is a little bit different. Event, as you can see, this doesn't look like a typical chatbot message. So it's essentially like a small bit of text. I'll just show you an example which comes up above the message, and I'll show you a really nice use case for this, which is our chatbot collects anonymous data on its users. My grammar was probably going to be all off here as I'm trying to type on the fly. By using our chatbot, you are okay with that. As you can tell, I'm not a legals person. I'm not very good at writing privacy policies or privacy policies or anything along those lines. So this is terribly worded, and or say cookie policies, but you can kind of get the gist of where I'm going with it. And what I can do here is now add another message, which is, how can I help? Click save. What we're going to do is then just jump into the example, just so you can kind of see exactly how this event message type looks. And let's go with show me the example. So as you can see here, we've got this come through. Our chatbot collects anonymous data on its users. By using our chatbot, you're saying you're okay with that. This is absolutely great. Obviously, this kind of message you actually want to appear just above the welcome message, so you'd edit that welcome message conversation. But yeah, so this is a really nice way of just kind of throwing in the odd little message. Again, great for sales. Say if you've got a sale on, put that at the start of the conversation as soon as anyone clicks on it. Imagine if this actually instead said, let me just change this. Oop. Don't forget, we've got a hot sale taking place right now. Ask the chatbot about it. Click save. Just quickly go back through, reset this conversation. Didn't realize quite how much resetting conversations there would be going on, showing all the different message types, but show me the example. And obviously as well, here we are. So this is a really nice way of just kind of putting the odd little message into the users, or maybe say a little bit of that more admin-y side of stuff where you're just letting users know about the data just in terms of GDPR. So that kind of covers the vast majority, I believe, pretty much all. Obviously, my internet wasn't quite coping with the content, which is not an issue that particularly anyone in the world apart from me seems to have. But yeah, I think just when I'm streaming, it's a little bit of a difficulty. So what we've done here is kind of covered the vast majority of the different content message types. And I believe I'm going to have to bring this deep dive to a close here. In the future in the next episode, what we're going to be covering is the composer types. So a message type is what the user sees, is the message that you send the user. The composer is this section here at the bottom, which is how the user responds. So we've got all sorts, we've got different sending date and time, numbers only, different kind of validations that you can put in. There's loads of different message types. So we'll be covering that. And of course, after that, we're going to come on to the exciting thing, which is knowledge bases. All right, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. I've been monitoring the chat. I can see a question came through. If you do have any questions, just feel free to either email them over to ubisend or head onto the ubisend website to see a little bit more of the platform, ubisend.com/book-demo or /demo, sorry. I'll just say that again, ubisend.com/demo. Head over there if you want to see a little bit more of the platform, be shown around in kind of with a little bit of tailored to your niche as well. I know a lot of our teams that do the demos and do the platform tours really relax things, probably a little bit more relaxed and a little bit better at talking than I am. And yeah, kind of just basically just talk you through, show you what you need to see. Absolutely non-committal, none of that nonsense. Really great stuff. Thank you all for watching as always, and I will see you later.